After 40, the body begins to communicate more subtly and often more honestly than it did before. The stakes can feel higher, and these subtle shifts can be unsettling. But by learning to watch, wait, or act, you can navigate this chapter with intelligence and grace. You may begin to notice shifts in how your body responds to daily life. These are not signs of failure, but valuable pieces of feedback. Common examples include slower recovery from exercise or a late night, less margin for stress before feeling its physical effects, different responses to foods, sleep patterns, or alcohol that you previously tolerated well. The core mindset shift required is to see this communication as feedback, not failure. Your goal is not to control your body, but to interpret its signals wisely. This means resisting the two most common urges: the need to fix everything immediately, or the tendency to dismiss everything as an inevitable part of just aging. A core message of reassurance. I want to be very clear here. Please remember these key points. Noticing changes does not mean something is wrong. Paying attention does not create problems. Choosing a thoughtful response does not mean you're overreacting. This is how long-term health is built: quietly, consistently, and without fear. Before we wrap up, I want to tell you about a free tool that goes with today's episode, because this framework is most helpful when you can actually see it on paper. I've created a simple watch, wait, act guide, along with a short body pattern worksheet and a reflection sheet for appointments. Let me explain how to use this in a way that stays supportive, not stressful. First, this tool is not about diagnosing yourself or deciding what's wrong. Think of it as a place to park information instead of carrying it around in your head. When you download it, start with the Watch, Wait, Act page. Read through it once, not to decide what category you're in, but just to understand how different responses can be appropriate at different times. Most people are never told that watching or waiting can actually be thoughtful, healthy choices. Next, if you're noticing something specific, use the body pattern tracking worksheet. This is where you simply write down what you're noticing, when it tends to show up, how often it happens, and whether it affects your day-to-day life. No conclusions, no labels, just observations. You don't need to fill this out perfectly. Even a few notes over a couple of weeks can be incredibly helpful. And finally, there's a what to bring to your next appointment reflection sheet. This is especially useful if you've ever walked into an appointment thinking, I don't even know how to explain this. This sheet helps you bring patterns instead of panic, questions instead of assumptions, context instead of isolated symptoms. You can bring it to a medical appointment, a coaching conversation, or even just use it for your own clarity. If this way of thinking resonates with you, I want to offer a few gentle, practical ways you can start applying these ideas to your own life. No pressure, just simple awareness. 1. Consider writing down changes you notice in a simple journal without feeling the need to interpret them immediately. 2. Ask yourself, is this new, persistent, or changing? Use the framework to categorize the signal. 3. Reflect on patterns over time instead of focusing on isolated moments or single symptoms. 4. Bring your observations, not your conclusions or self-diagnoses, to your healthcare conversations. No urgency, no pressure, just awareness. I want to be very clear here. Please remember these key points. Noticing changes does not mean something is wrong. Paying attention does not create problems. Choosing a thoughtful response does not mean you're overreacting. This is how long-term health is built. Quietly, consistently, and without fear.